20 quick fire questions with Sam and James. Here we go. One, what fitness opinion gets you instantly triggered?
Well, these are hard because they're on the spot.
Yeah.
Fitness opinion.
Oh,
Okay. There's a couple. There's a couple, but just off the top of my
I'm
head.
just getting riled up. Oh, yeah. I'm getting riled up.
Um,
I'm getting limber.
your age is the reason. Your age is the reason for your physical, no, lack of physical ability, decline, increasing waist size, whatever it be.
Right. I think that's spot on because I've been talking about this a lot recently. Um, I had a 26-year-old, and I know he's 26. He told me he's 26 in the comments. He commented on one of my posts, and he said something along the lines of, "Oh, I could just not drag myself to the gym." In reference to the granddad clip that I put up, where he's helping his daughter he
Oh
picks up
yes,
a
yeah, yeah, yeah,
granddaughter and he
yeah.
puts the star at the top of the tree.
Mm.
And that is the exact reason why a lot of people decline in their health as they age,
Yeah.
right? And that's what you're referring to, right?
Mhm. Absolutely. It's not, yeah, it's not because you hit a certain age, you wake up on your 30th birthday, 40th birthday, 50th birthday, whatever it be, and all of a sudden life goes right. You can no longer squat, you can no longer sprint, you're automatically going to gain, 20 pounds of body fat, all because of you've just hit a certain birthday. It's not. It's because of a gradual change in your lifestyle where you put less priority into your training, your nutrition, playing sports, whatever. And that's what it comes from.
Yeah, it absolutely 100%. I think you told me this before, and it's quite a good take. I thought where people play sports when they're younger, and then all of a
Mm.
sudden they just stop, and then they just get into a job, and that's it. Yeah, they kind of just prioritize their work, and then that just takes over. And before they know it, they're in their 50s, and they haven't done anything really that physically stressful for the
Yeah.
last 30 years. And that's why people decline early. And the other thing as well, and this is what I said to this guy, is that, look, I'm not here to change your mind, really. I'm not here to convince you of anything. Like I'm done with convincing people of anything these days. Like it's just there's no point, right? We just have different values. But what I
Yeah.
would say is that lifting weights is uniquely different from every other form of physical activity you can do. This is what we talked about in the Beyond Weekend Golf episode, right? Like,
Yeah.
this is exactly for that reason. And also, it's quite a self-centered perspective, in my opinion. It's like at the end of the day, you're not doing this just for you. And, it's also the people around you too.
Mm.
It's being in service of others, being there for other people, being strong, being independent. So if shit does hit the fan, then you are able to be reliable, like you can help your family in a time of need, or you can, whatever it might be, you're able, right? And that's why we do this. So it's not all about you, right?
No,
It's
yeah.
it's
But it
also
is
about other people.
like you said, if you don't, if like you said then, if you don't prioritize looking after yourself, then you can't look after anybody else.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Question two. What's the dumbest thing you've heard in a gym?
In the gym. Probably one of the conversations you and I have had.
What's that?
I
What's
don't
that
know.
say? What's that? What have we said in the gym?
I don't know. Well, I could name a couple that you would say are dumb about.
Yeah.
Um, well, ISOs. You don't like ISOs, do you?
I was saying, you're throwing me under the
Straight
bus. Yeah.
under the bus. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What's that? Isometrics. Right. Okay.
What other? I was saying that I've heard some silly takes from people in the gym. Sometimes it's around training, or sometimes I've got into conversation with someone about diet, whatever else, and someone will come out with something. I had one actually. I'm going off on a tangent now. I had one the other day. saw someone and he said, "Oh, we'll have to go for a couple of beers one night, and I'll explain it all to you then." And I said, "Oh, no, no." I said, "For me, it would be I'll have you." I said, "You crack on with the beers. I'll have a few Coke Zeros." He went, "Oh, Coke Zeros. I mean, if you said water, I mean, I'd be like, okay, come on, but Coke Zero." And I'm like,
Seriously.
"You're drinking alcohol. You think artificial sweeteners are a problem? Boof, make it make sense."
Now I can't beat that.
Yeah,
That is really, really, yeah, that's I'm lost for words, to be
yeah,
honest. And it's always the people that are heavy drinkers that think artificial sweeteners are bad for them.
yeah, I know. Yeah,
It's like the weekend drinkers who like do like 4 bottles of wine, red wine across the weekend, are the same people that are afraid of, the added ingredients in
the
bread,
aspartame. Yeah.
and stuff
And
like
yet,
that.
even though there are no scientific studies to show aspartame increases cancer risk, not to any level that humans are going to be able to consume of it, but cancer risk from alcohol, there certainly is. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's just yeah, again, brushed under the rug.
it's very good, very good. Right. Three, is hypertrophy overrated?
You answer this one, sir. You go for it.
Well, I don't think hypertrophy's overrated. I mean, building muscle is
Yeah.
is is always a good thing. But what I've said on previous episodes, I just don't think how you build muscle is properly understood today.
Mm.
And look, that's from me having done all of the stuff that people listening to this are probably doing right now.
The high
And
volume
the
split
high volume, all the different machines. And look, I'm
accessories.
I'm writing about it in my book currently. I've walked those two paths. I was bought into all of that side of things. I spent years doing it myself. It
Mm.
hasn't made me any bigger. Um, it didn't make any of the people that I used to train bigger either. In my experience, watching people firsthand, being doing this for a decade now, and watching people train, the thing that makes people bigger is getting stronger. You've known
Yeah.
me, right? You knew me back then, and I was doing all sorts of stuff. And I said to you the other day, like, since then compared to now, where I've
Mm.
got actually strength trained and got stronger, I look way different,
Well,
right?
you were baby gorilla, now you're silverback.
Right, yeah. I'm a
But no,
still
but obviously I'm joking. But yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously, like you look at the pictures, isn't it? There's a visible difference.
right, and it's funny because everybody that does this high volume garbage training
Mm.
these days, just look at that. They don't change how they
Mm.
look. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Despite, guess what? Despite what the research says. Oh, I said it. I said it. I can't go back. Four, should beginners ever touch machines first?
Well, my preference, you see, would always be to get someone um, moving through a full range, with their body weight, with a dumbbell, whatever, So let's take a squat. Obvious one would be to get someone goblet squatting.
Right.
Um, However, you need to set that up, or maybe someone needs to set up a squat with some hand assistance, whatever it be. I personally prefer that over a machine, but
Yeah. I kind of, it depends, right? So I would say if you don't need one, then
mm,
don't, like get squatting, get doing your usual, free weight movement patterns. But this is where I do think some machines are useful because the reason someone can't hit the bottom of a squat 9 times out of 10 is because they're just not strong enough, right?
mm,
And all they don't have the mobility, right? Is
yeah,
either it's probably both, right? And I really like a leg press for that person because it fixes them in position. They get that stability that they lack in. They get the mobility benefits
yeah,
from doing a leg press. And it introduces them to that similar movement pattern, just basically upside down,
mm,
in a safe way. The advantage I would say that it has over, say, you holding their hands and just going down and up, because I've done that before actually, and that's great.
Mm.
But I prefer personally that loading because they're gonna get that gradual increase in stress.
Yeah, you're applying more tension on the muscle over time. Yeah.
Sure. So I think that is, but in the background, I would be having them practicing the skill
Yeah, the
of like
movement side of it.
of the movement and then doing that as well. But if you don't need a machine, then I wouldn't be using it.
Yeah.
I would just yeah. But what exercise is criminally underrated? Go on, sir.
What an exercise now in the gym we're talking.
Yeah,
Um, if we've got to be in the gym, because otherwise I'm going to say sprinting. Because
sprinting.
I
Yeah,
don't I
yeah,
don't think enough people do it, you know?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
you touched on earlier, people play sports until whatever age, leave school, whatever, maybe their early 20s, and then they never ever move explosively again. And if they're not training with high intensity in the gym either, they probably go and do, more endurance-based work and things like that, and never ever get exposed. Like, I'm not shitting on high rocks or anything like that now, but you know, people will go and do a high rocks event, and it's great. So obviously, it'd hand me my ass if I went and did it, but it's very much more a strength endurance thing, with all that running and that work in there, as opposed to all that explosiveness, which you'd get from max working on your max speed or your
Right.
your all out max strength like you do.
Yeah, you are right. I do think people just stop sprinting,
And people are
and
afraid of it then. They're
yeah,
terrified.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I would add into that learning how to defend yourself.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
th
yeah,
I think that's underrated actually
yeah,
as well. Talk about you know, like just learning how to throw a punch.
mm.
Like it's amazing how many people just don't know how to throw a punch.
Yeah, yeah,
And so I would check that in there too. I think
yeah.
sprinting's a
Absolutely,
good.
that's a good one.
I think sprinting's a good one.
Mm.
And I would also say I'd say that too. So two outside the gym then, because people know like squats are not really underrated, are they?
No, no, yeah, yeah. No.
You know. Right. What exercise is criminally overrated?
Have you got one? I'm not sure. Off the top of my head.
Um, there's gonna be plenty, isn't there? I know. Bulgarian split squats. Wanna know why?
Yeah,
Because I see everyone doing a Bulgarian split squat today.
yeah, yeah,
Everyone.
yeah.
I
A lot of people do.
to grow the glutes or something like that. I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't even know these days what and you'll just see them. Oh, that's another one. Sorry, take that back. Hip thrusts.
oh yeah. Everyone loves a hip. Yeah, I don't understand that.
I don't
I
understand
remember
that.
having a program once and they were on there. This is way back, and I was like, this exercise is the most awkward exercise in the world to set up as well.
Right, right.
Like for me, I would always opt for like if I'm working on like hip dominant stuff, a deadlift variation, so an RDL or
Yeah.
deadlift over that, always.
Sure, sure. And also as well, the range of motion is tiny.
Yeah,
So yeah, you can lift a lot of weight with it, but the range of motion is literally like this much.
yeah,
I just don't get it. I really, really don't get it. It's like, in terms of like people think they grow in their glutes that way. I don't know, but
and I
it's
think
not
your quads actually assist a hell of a lot more on that more than hip extension.
right.
Easy for people to do it wrong, and then your quads are assisting a lot more than if you are doing, let's say, an RDL or other deadlift variation. In my opinion.
Definitely, yeah. Hip thrusts definitely
Yeah,
got to
yeah, I
take
completely
that.
agree.
Um, these are quite good actually. What's the worst advice PTs give to clients? Mate, we are going in. I
Um,
don't know if there's any coming back after this one.
worst advice PTs give to clients. So, like, I don't know, like, there's quite a few different things. Like, probably, if I really rack my
Right,
brain
but
out.
before you answer this,
Mm.
right, let the shackles off, James. Really go in.
All
Take
right,
it
so
all.
so
Take it
one is
all.
one is when you've got a client, weight loss client comes in, and their weight is not moving, and they're paying their trainer 3 times a week, and maybe they've just given them some generic diet or whatever they're doing, and they're supposedly training them for fat loss, but their weight is not moving. And they're like, oh, don't worry because you're building muscle. No, no, no. I'm sorry. Someone comes in and they're a beginner and they've got a lot of weight to lose. Their weight should be coming down. They are not building muscle at the rate of knots. It
Right.
won't accelerate past fat loss. So yeah,
Right.
you're lying to your client to keep them paying you. So
So fat loss workouts, basically.
yeah, yes.
Yeah, all these like, yeah, I know what you mean.
Like
Yeah.
what, your workouts are fat loss workouts because you're maintaining muscle and then you allow the diet to do it. Like more sweat doesn't equal more fat loss. It burns
Yeah.
more calorie burn, but trying to train yourself into a deficit is not a very smart way.
If your coach, let's just put a good rule of thumb out there, yeah?
Mm.
If your coach is taking you through a fat loss specific workout,
Mm.
please go and hire a new coach.
You
Yeah.
said it. You said it, so no one can have a go at me.
Yeah, GBC or whatever what's it called? German,
I
what's
don't
it?
know. Yeah,
It's, to get more metabolically efficient or
they increase
whatever.
like it seems like increasing mitochondria, isn't it? Like you see all these workouts, they increase your mitochondria, so you're going to be more efficient at burning fat. Well, it's not. It's just an energy balance equation.
Right,
So it's always going to be pulling on your nutrition.
right.
Obviously, increase your general activity is going to assist in burning some more calories, but it's certainly not the be all end all for fat loss. Like, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, that's a great one. That's a really good one. Now I'll come at this more from the strength training perspective
mm,
because this goes on all the time where coaches insist on their clients dropping their hips too low on a deadlift.
oh, I've seen you post about this, and then the hips automatically shoot up before
It's
you get to the
unbelievable.
position you need to pull from, isn't it?
It's unbelievable, mate, because this is most coaches.
All
Like
right.
this is most like, and I'm not talking about like normal PTs in a pure gym. I'm talking about like strength coaches.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like good or powerlifting coaches, strength coaches. I, there's this obsession with thinking that you need to squat the bar up.
I was going to say, so you're starting almost in more of a 90-degree hip position of a squat, and then pulling from there, is it? Well, pushing through the legs, and then hips shoot up, and then start the pull, I guess.
Sure. And then the idea is when their hips do shoot up, which
Mm.
they will, the solution is apparently to just train that lower hip position more because they're just not good at the skill of
Right.
pulling with their hips in that position. It's like, no, that is not how this works. Like physics does not care for your efficiency, right? What matters is having the bar being pulled from the midfoot. Take a look at any world record deadlift, and watch what happens. As the bar leaves the floor, the
Mm.
crease of the armpit is directly over the top of the bar. Direct, and the arms are back at 5 degrees, and the hips are higher than the person wants them to be in.
Yeah.
And that's just the way that it is. Like the hips are shooting up because you're setting them too low.
Mm.
Like they need to be at the most mechanically advantageous position. And the way that I teach that is just from the very start. Like you may as well just train that position. And I know this firsthand because I went years and years and years pulling the deadlift with my hips too low.
Yeah. So I'm presuming, again, obviously you're the expert, you can tell me on this, but I'm presuming by doing that, um, you're not recruiting your posterior chain from the initial start
Well,
of the
what
exercise.
ends up happening, right, is these people can do keep the hips low, and it
Mm.
feels really, really good, right, with loads of like below 85% of their 1 RM, right, and then when they get heavier and heavier and heavier, closer to their 1 RM, their hips shoot up
Yeah.
because now the cracks are showing, right, in the form, and then when the hips shoot up they lose a bunch of tension, and because they've over relied on their quads for all this time, their posterior chain hasn't had an adequate stimulus.
Mm.
So all the force then goes through their hamstrings and glutes, and what ends up happening? Not only do they miss, sometimes they hurt themselves
Yeah.
because
Get
now they're
injured.
putting a bunch of force through their hamstrings and their
Not being
glutes,
loaded.
and it's not being trained. It's
Mm.
not being loaded. So that's one that goes on everywhere, everywhere, mate. Um, should people? Stop chasing abs. Well, I mean, and maybe that's. Should we skip over that one because I feel like we butchered that one, haven't we?
We've done that a lot.
Yeah, we've done that a lot. Okay. Um, what's the biggest lie the fitness industry sells? I know.
Go on.
Your happiness is a number.
Oh yeah, like your post today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your happiness is a number. That is single-handedly the biggest lie the fitness industry sells you.
Mm.
Single-handedly.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that coaches will manipulate and deceive people to sell them their product and service.
Mm.
That goes on all the time. You know this as well as I do. You've been in this industry longer than me,
Mm.
right? So you've seen it happen over and over and over again. We've seen it on multiple occasions, right?
Yeah.
Where people again lied to, manipulated, and say, oh, if you get to X body fat percentage, without necessarily explicitly saying it, but playing on emotions. Right. By the way, this whole thing of like I get on calls with people, and I get on calls with people to find out more about them. And if they want to join my coaching because they're interested, then great. But this whole idea of touching on people's trigger points is quite frankly gross.
Mm.
It's gross. I hate that stuff. That's a salesperson. I'm not a salesperson. I'm a coach.
Yeah.
And this whole idea of coaches touching on people's like past and
Or like
manipulating
their
them
discomfort.
and their discomforts, I think that's gross. And that happens all the time. And this idea then of, oh, if you get to X% body fat on the in-body machine, which by the way isn't accurate anyway,
Oh, it's a joke. That thing, yeah, that thing's a joke. Yeah.
then all of a sudden you're gonna be fulfilled. Oh, that's a recipe for disaster, isn't it? I talked about today. If I talk about this with aesthetics, I've got to uphold that same standard to strength training. And I constantly say to my guys all the time, do not place your happiness in a number
Yeah.
because that's again, it's you're more than that. And this idea that you know the scale weight is going to make you happier when you read. I'm telling you, that is not the case. I have seen it over and over and over again. Yes, you might be more fulfilled if generally you get a bit healthier, maybe you lose a bit of weight, and that feels better for you, and you're happier, you're healthier. But this idea of when you reach a certain number that you set with your coach, that all of a sudden all of your problems are going to be solved, it,
Yeah.
it doesn't quite work like that, you
No,
know?
absolutely. Yeah, spot on. And I think, yeah, people then form bad relationships with, yeah, with the whole fitness lifestyle because they get to this so-called promised land and then they're like, right, what happens now?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, personally, I think that if you want to talk about happiness and talk about, yes, a big part of it is your physical health and all that, but it's also looking at your life
Mm.
too, and is there other aspects that you're trying to fill the void with, with this new goal that you've just come up with, look there first.
Yeah, yeah,
Like look elsewhere in your life too. It's like this is a part of the puzzle, but it's not the entire thing.
absolutely.
And then coaches will just try and like take advantage of that. I just think it's gross. Um, right, should we do one or two more and then that's it, mate?
Yeah,
Keep
yeah,
it
go
keep
for
it
it.
short and sweet. Let's pick one good one then to finish. Um,
By your
what's
grin and laugh, I'm interested.
what's what's the most annoying gym behavior? I got one. That's why I laughed. But you
Um,
crack on first.
right. So I haven't trained in public gyms as much as you, but I now train in one, typically once a week. I go and train in a public gym a couple of times a month. I've obviously experienced it as well when we've been in Portugal. a big one is like, again, the obvious one, which I find baffling, is people not putting their equipment away. That blows my mind. I really can't understand that. The lack of like just etiquette and just being a, you know, good person. Cleaning up after yourself.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
That's literally what it comes down to.
Other than that, I don't know. I've not witnessed anything. Yeah.
Well, let's open this can of worms, shall we?
Right.
Because I've got one here that is really annoying. And
Hmm.
there is people that think they own the gym with their BBC camera crew that they bring in with them.
I've not seen it.
Because,
I've obviously heard about it, but I've not seen it.
oh my God, I can't. And listen, this is coming from an online coach.
Yeah, same. I've got a job because of online coaching, people videoing their form videos, sending them in, and that's the large part of my work is coaching people through that, you know? So yeah,
Right, yeah, and I can
same
see
with you.
I get my business relies on it, like, and it's
Mm.
super useful, right? Like recording your set. So I didn't mean that, right? That's normal.
Yeah. I don't
What's annoying is when people expect you to move out of the way of their camera,
know. Hmm.
and it's like, oh, if you get in the way, then somehow that's inconsiderate. So I'm sorry, the world does not revolve around you,
Yeah.
right? I pay to be here just as much as you. Now, to be fair, that doesn't happen to my gym, but because the people that go to my gym are pretty respectful, but I'm also online, I scroll on social media and I'll see like these videos of people getting pissy because someone's walked in the way of their camera. And it's like, who do you think you are exactly? You know? The second one that I want to throw out there is grunting.
I was
And
going to say this. Yeah, so much noise made.
yeah, so much noise, so much noise. Now, listen, I do let out a scream on the occasional time where I'll hit a PR, right? And it's like because I'm so in my head, right? And it's very short. However, there are the dumbbell warriors out there that are in the corner of the gym on their flat bench, and
Tricep
every single
extension, screaming.
oh,
I've
and
seen
it's
it.
and
Seen it.
it's this all the way through, dude. And I'm like, I cannot deal with this because my eyeballs are gonna fall out of my head, you know?
Yeah.
So we cannot have that in
Yeah.
the gym. We cannot have that, sir. Okay? So those would be my annoying ones. Anyway, how long have we been going for? Do you want to leave it there or do you want to
Yeah, yeah, I think leave it there. That's a
leave it there?
yeah,
That's a good way to end it, I think.
yeah.
But anyway, do you want to see us out,
You can do
Jim?
today. I did it last time, so you're allowed today.
Um, don't tell me I'm allowed, man.
Dominance, alpha male. Oh,
You're allowed today. I'm gonna tell people what you did to me as well.
when?
When
When?
we were out in Portugal, one of the many things
What did I do to you? What?
when we
Oh,
sat down.
oh, in Pizza Pasta when we ordered. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
when I did the gentleman thing and
Oh,
I ordered your meal for you and your drink, and the gaze I just got from the you just staring at me when I was doing it. Oh my God.
so you oversimplified that story then, because what happened, I sat down and I had my order in my head, and before I could open these lips, you decided to go and he will take the
Pepperoni
pepperoni
pizza,
pizza.
the tomato salad, and a Coke Zero, and then I took your menu and handed it to the waitress with mine.
And then the audacity, you asked me before this if I was happy.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. That one was genuine. When I ordered your food, I was doing it out of yeah, I'm going to dominate this situation. But when I asked you if you were happy, it was because we'd gone to the restaurant you wanted to go to. So I was like, I just turned to you and I said, I thought, what, we're at the restaurant you wanted to go to.
Yeah.
You come. I was like, are you happy? And you were like, and that was completely. It was like, completely honest. There was nothing behind that. I didn't even think about what I was saying.
Taking control of the situation,
Yeah,
aren't you?
well,
That's you
yeah,
just can't help it, can you?
no,
You
yeah.
can't help it. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed that one, leave that rating review and we'll catch you in the next one.